like to call this meeting of the Logan County Commissioners to order. Today, September 12th, 2022. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, actually 10:08. Please rise for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As Bobby would say, go Pope.
Go Poach. All right. All right, no citizens desiring to be heard. Unless Chris wants to say something.
I'm good today, thank you.
All right. Item 4, consideration possible on resolution to establish correct terms for trustees of I-1 EMS and Crescent 1-2 EMS and open for acceptance of applications.
So I sent out the proposed resolution approved by Lowell. I was asked to go back and try to line up everyone's board. In doing so, came across mistakes that were made long before any of us were sitting here. They're regulated by the state constitution, Article 10, Section 9C, that establishes them on a 5-year term. Guthrie, at some point, it appears in the 90s, going through old minutes, somehow it got shifted to 3-year terms. Not sure how, that's just what I find in the minutes. And at this point, it's impossible for me to tie back who's on what schedule. There's supposed to be 5-year terms. There should be, when set up and done correctly, one person every year is up in a 5-member board, which is the minimum that they have to be set up with by the state constitution. So in going back and trying to track and connect all of these dots, it's just impossible. So after working with Lowell and trying to figure out how to resolve this, it was Lowell's opinion that we basically draw a line and start over. And so that would mean that we would have 5-member board that is appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. Then a lot would be drawn for each one of those new appointments, 1 through 5, and that would establish that first term for those board members. So one board member would be established at 1 year and a 2-year and so on. And then after that, they would be on a 5-year term. This is the case for the 2 EMSs. The new EMS North and East are, yes, they're a little late being reappointed for 2, 3, but
we don't have that same issue.
We don't have the same issue. We know exactly where we are on them.
Because we just did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I sent this resolution out to you, I think last week to look at, but essentially it just states that due to these errors that were out of our control, this is the best course to right the ship.
I read what Lowell said, and I agree with it. I mean, it's our job to set the boat back on the right course again.
I'll move we approve.
Okay,
Second.
I just want to clarify, in case you wanted to change, because I was kind of grasping with this. This was opening for applications to be accepted from September 12th to September 30th with new terms August the 1st. Is that enough time, or do we need to change those dates?
Well, we're already into September, right?
Well, today is September 12th. Yeah.
So that would be yes.
So from now to just accept 2 weeks worth. Well, actually it'd be 3 weeks to accept applications.
I think we probably should open it a little longer than that. But
Okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Right.
I mean,
So, let's say they need to have an emergency meeting tomorrow. Are they gonna have board members?
Yeah, well, so
So these people are still gonna sit on there until.
yes, according to Lowell, any appointment is there until
Right.
a new one is put in their place.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. then I don't mind stretching it out then. It's a longer opening.
And that's the same interpretation you had when I first asked my first question about the EMS stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, if you want to stretch it out, I'm.
Wow, so give me some,
October 15th?
you want to receive them until October?
Well, I think that's when we should look at making decisions.
Okay, okay. So open from today till October the 14th, and then you guys address them on the 15th, is that?
How
No,
about
it
we
actually
do
be
it to
the
the
14th.
13th and do it on the 14th?
Yeah.
Okay, and then their terms would actually start on what day? That day, the 15th, if they're appointed the 15th, or make the 15th the actual term date?
15th would be on Saturday.
It doesn't, I don't think it really matters a whole lot on their start date. I know it needs to start after appointment, but most of the EMS boards only meet once a quarter, right?
Yes, they meet quarterly, I think most.
So if we appoint a new one, you know, within the new start date, that's the important part, right?
But for moving forward, so we know at what point every year that term is up.
Right.
We would be setting that date.
Right.
So that was where my next, we can accept them. So I had put their terms would begin October 1st, but if we're pushing that out, then we could use October 15th as a
Okay.
term date.
So in some regard here, appointments are like elections.
Sort of.
Sort of, okay. And what I mean by that is that periodically, those need to be serviced. Those accounts need to be reserviced. Every 5 years, this board needs to reappoint someone every 5 years on at least 2 boards, 3 boards. or-
Actually, it'll be every year.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah. And so we should probably come up with a process, and we don't have to do this today, but when do we do that? When do we do appointments for the EMS boards? I mean, I think if we schedule that
Right.
as an annual issue.
So like, we might appoint them in October is what you're saying, but January of next year
Yes, sir.
is gonna be the term date.
Yeah.
Every
yeah.
January, we appoint board members. I think is where he's going.
I'm just going with periodic, with the
Right.
one set date that we put on the calendar to do it,
Right.
as far as the process.
And October could be the month. Every year, October, we appoint EMS.
Or 1 July, it's a new year. It doesn't matter to me. There's all sorts of ways we could come up with the year. I just wanted to throw that out there as a recommendation that we look at establishing a process to do this so we don't forget again.
Well, I told you.
So we don't get surprised again.
Well,
I mean, it was all a
and-
surprise to everybody.
Well, and it was, looking back in the minutes, I found all kinds of stuff that was just not done.
But maybe we ought to include that in our motion today then.
But as Lowell told me, tracking these board appointments should really fall to the duty of each board. They should know when their people are up and when they're coming and going, and it's really not necessarily my job.
No, it's not your job, and I agree with that. However, it's our board's job to reappoint,
But I
and
will,
we need to keep track of that.
and
part of
I
it.
was headed there, Martin.
Okay,
I will create some spreadsheets and start trying to have a way on our side and not relying on the board solely.
Well, let's just put it in my motion that I move that we approve this, that every year in October 1 or July 1, we're gonna reappoint EMS board members.
I will second that if we can pick a date.
First business day of July.
I like it.
Can we do that in that same motion then? I mean, it's kind of,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure it ties to this item.
okay. Well, let's.
Well, I tried to read this item, it was hard for me to tell what we were talking about for a minute. Okay, Consideration and possible. on
I forgot the
resolution.
word action.
I wasn't picking too much. To establish correct terms. Well, I think that is, yeah, I think that works.
Well, it does and it doesn't, because it only lists the 2 EMSs that are at issue with this resolution, not the third one, which is an EMS that would be part of what Monty's saying.
Well, on our next agenda, let's just have an agenda item that we pick July, first business day of July, to reappoint all EMS board members.
Okay, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna have a question with Lowell as far as like EMS Northeast, the one we're not dealing with today.
Right.
They were first appointed in February on 1-year terms. That would make February. So there may be an action specific by resolution. It's gonna create an offset on a term to get everyone over to July.
And we went back and looked at the minutes of those appointments that we've done so far.
You mean for Northeast?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just, yeah, so I thought we had picked 1 through 5-year terms for those.
We did, but they created and started in February.
Right.
So they would be up in February on
The-
1 year.
There's a 1-year term coming up for them this next year.
If we put everyone on July,
Mhm.
even with these that we're doing now, you see what I'm saying? There's gonna have to be a short term or a long term to get everyone to July.
I think we just extend that one to July and just do them
And
all
then-
3 in July next year. I think it's fine.
Okay,
I mean,
So if we need to have another agenda item on the next meeting, I'm getting it.
okay.
so are we gonna have another agenda item on the next meeting? Or are we just good with that?
Or you want on this motion? I need to know what kind of motion I need to make today.
Whichever, I mean, I think that a separate item that says that the terms of EMS districts to cover all 3 would begin July 1. That might be what's necessary. I can put that on the next agenda.
Okay,
Yes.
I would appreciate it. So on this particular one, I'll move that we approve as written. And I'll second it. I'll vote no.
Yes, I seconded it. So, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We're gonna, just so I'm clear, we're gonna take applications until October 13th. Okay, no more discussion for me.
Thanks, sir. Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes by majority vote. Consideration and possible action, item 5, on authorizing use of insurance deductible fund of claim of water damage at the health department.
So, I mean, we need to fix it. So,
So, the deductible fund would be used for 25,000. The total claim is just under 80, I think, because that's the adjuster's appraised value. That's what insurance is willing to pay. 25 of that would come out of our deductible fund.
right. Well, that's why we pay it. Go ahead.
Did I hear a rumor that they had a lot of extra cash that was pulled over from past years that they're, I mean, I just.
I have
Well,
asked them about that. Part of their, in this absolute, because we're not budgeted yet, most of their money lays in capital outlay that doesn't go into their account till after we get approved budget. And their M&O account is pretty tight, waiting for that to happen.
Right.
So,
No, I was talking about money that they had from the state. In the cash account,
that's,
the health department.
no, that's not estate money, that's county, from the
Well,
county budget.
okay, fine. Actually, really?
Mhm.
We just handle it. 1 point,
They received 2.56 mils, which is budgeted, I mean, they have their own budget, just like we do.
right, right.
With that millage.
Right. But they do not have the money at this point in time. but we need to get the building fixed, so.
Yeah,
I'll move, we approve again, I'm blank.
Use of the deductible
Yeah,
fund.
use of the deductible fund.
I was second.
Really had my head swirling.
It's all right. All right, have a motion and a second on item 5. Any further discussion? Hearing.
It'd be nice if they would help pay the deductible when they can. That's all I got. Thank you. I'll vote aye.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes by a majority vote. Item 6, comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners or other county officers and department heads. Chris?
I'm good today.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
No, okay.
Don't have anything.
Just a reminder that I won't be here on the 15th.
Sir?
I have nothing.
Good, okay. All right, item 7, consideration of possible action on adjournment.
I'll move with adjourn.
I will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.